Hello everyone, it's Pepsi, back here in Roblox Wild Horse Islands. I'm super excited because since yesterday when the summer event dropped, a lot of you guys have been asking and waiting for this video. And in this video, I'm going to be going over the most efficient, best, and fastest grinding methods to earn Carnival tickets and complete the 2025 Summer Carnival event here in Roblox Wild Horse Islands. If you guys don't already know what the 2025 Summer Carnival event, or you haven't played the brand new update that was released yesterday, I have a link to my previous video in the top right hand corner of the screen, or you can go to my page to my previous video and see the complete overview. I go over all the information you need to know about the Summer Carnival event, all the reward milestones, every single reward you can get, and do a tutorial on every single activity that is added to the game in this event update. Again, this event is lasting 28 days. It will end on August 8th. So make sure that you are grinding those carnival tickets to complete the event before the event ends if you are trying to get all the rewards. Now, in this video, before I get started, I do want to remind you guys, because I haven't had a full event in the game since February, and I haven't done one of these videos since February, that there are timestamps in the video description and in the video bar down below if you want to skip to a specific section. I always do these videos from the slowest activities to the most efficient. So if you're just trying to go to the best method, you can skip to the end of this video if you're looking down in the video description or the video bar. Keep in mind that I do tips and tricks throughout this video, so if you want to keep watching, I would really appreciate it. So before I get started, I'm gonna go over my graphic and math. So if you've seen these videos previously for other events in the game, I always do all my calculations and math on a little image graphic so you guys can see all the calculations that went into me putting this list together. So this is the graphic right over here. It'll be in the video description bar down below and in the pinned comment down below. It'll be linked, or you can just pause the video right here or take a screenshot if you would like to see it. But I am often going to be referencing this graphic when I'm going through each activity, and you will often hear me talk about the tickets per second, and this is the graphic that I am talking about, because here is where I put all my math and showed all my work. So if you would like to see that. And I also am going to go over my horse information for what I use during all these calculations. So throughout all these calculations, I use the same horse except for one activity, and that is ring the bell, but I will also go over that later because that horse needs a strength horse. But every single other activity, I use this horse because it is the fastest. So this is a 100% purebred and an OG stat thoroughbred. So these have 100 speed, and you can train them to +5 because it is purebred. So it is fully trained on every single stat, which is why I use a purebred OG stat thoroughbred for all my calculations. And for tack, because I know you guys also want to know about the tack, this is the tack that I use. I use the barrel saddle because it gives the most speed in prismatic tier. I use the fancy dressage bridle because it gives additional stamina in prismatic tier. And I use the prismatic horseshoes because it gives the most stamina, and it's in prismatic tier, obviously, because it's prismatic horseshoes. So that is my tack. Let's move on to these grinding methods. So I go from slowest to fastest, and let's start with the slowest. So these are actually the ones listed at the bottom, numbers 13 to 11. These are the other activities. These are not activities on the Carnival Island. So when I'm talking about other activities, you can see that I've listed competition hub, catching, and training. The benefit for these is that while they are the slowest, you do get other resources. So for competition hub, you get competition tokens. For catching, you get potentially IUHs, the naturally died mismatches, the events, and potentially event IUHs. For training, you get skill points and training receipts. So keep in mind that these have other benefits. Usually if you're grinding these, you get some carnival tickets, but it's not going to be a good grinding method if you're just trying to get tickets only and you don't care about anything else. But I'll still give some tips and tricks and go over the math. So for Competition Hub, for the 10 minutes and for all these activities, I did 10 minutes of grinding for the math. So Competition Hub, I got 819 tickets for every 10 minutes, and that is 1.37 tickets per second. And my number one tip for Competition Hub is in between rounds, make sure you're going around the practice lap that's in the lobby, because it'll have these little ticket drops. You can actually see one right over here. You'll see these little tickets on the ground, usually on the obstacles or the jumps in the Competition Hub. So make sure you're picking those up because those are extra tickets. And they add a little bit, so it helps. For catching and training, you'll also see these around. If you see these in your pathway in general, just make sure you're picking these up. They're extra tickets that you get for free. So if you see them and they're in your way, grab them. For the second slowest, we have catching. So again, catching has a lot of benefits, but it is the second slowest. I got 1,561 tickets for 10 minutes of catching. So that is 2.60 tickets per second. Again, if you see those little ticket pop-ups, make sure you're picking those up. That would be my first tip. My second tip is use your horse's favorite food. It'll give you a 10% speed boost for, I don't know how long it is. I think it's like 30 seconds. So it does help if you are catching to use that speed boost. The same applies for training. So the third slowest is training, and I specifically did cross country because a lot of you guys have been talking about cross country and how it gives a lot of tickets. Cross country does give 609 tickets. On my PBOG Thoroughbred, it took 98 seconds for me to do one cross country round, which is 6.21 tickets per second. But keep in mind with cross country, it helps again to pick up those tickets that you see around the route on the floor, and also it helps to have your favorite food. So those are the three slowest methods, numbers 13 to 11, but they do have other benefits of giving you other resources as well. I still put them on this graphic. I normally don't, but a lot of you guys have been talking about catching or training specifically, so I wanted to do the math so you guys can see the difference. And moving on to the ones that are actually on Carnival Island that I know you guys are interested in, we're starting with number 10. Number 10 is Horseshoe Ringers. And over 10 minutes, I got 3,974 tickets, which is a rate of 6.62 tickets per second. For a lot of these games, it depends on how good I personally am, because these are my personal timings. I don't go by the maximum because most of us are not always perfect, like myself. So again, I didn't always get the maximum amount of tickets every round. It is quite hard, because when you're doing Horseshoe Ringers, you don't have multiple chances like some of the other games. For example, like Balloon Burst Blitz, you have 3 tries for each balloon. With Horseshoe Ringers, if you miss it, you just don't get those tickets. So it is a fun mini game, but it is the 10th slowest. Again, a lot of the times you're gonna miss some of them. It's really difficult unless you're really focused to get all the horseshoes at the green bar, but I don't really have tips for these besides you really have to focus if you're trying to do Horseshoe Ringers. For the number 9th on the list, we have Balloon Pop Bonanza, and I think one just ended. But Balloon Pop Bonanza is the server event game, so it'll pop up in the world events, and it'll pop up in chat saying, there's balloons falling all over, pop as many as you can before time runs out, and it'll give a 2-minute timer. Now, the thing with Balloon Pop Bonanza is it only occurs every 10 to 15 minutes in the server, so this is not really an activity you can grind, because otherwise you're going to be doing nothing for 10 to 15 minutes until the next round, which will really slow you down. But I did want to put this on the list because I wanted to make a note of it that it is not really worth stopping whatever activity you're grinding to participate in the game, because it is the number 9th slowest. So, it is number 9th, the second slowest activity. I should have said that correctly. But I was able to get 38 popped balloons in a solo run balloon pop bonanza, and that is 944 tickets. And you can see on the graphic, again, it's 120 seconds, so that's a rate of 7.87 tickets per second. Again, you have to wait 10 to 15 minutes between rounds, so it's not really one that you can fully grind. Moving on to number 8, we have ring toss. Ring toss is another one where if you miss one of the tosses when you're playing the game, you do not get those tickets. So it's pretty hard to get the maximum tickets possible every time. And I don't really have tips for it because, again, it's just focusing really, really hard. I don't quite recommend this one as a grinding one, but if you are grinding it, I was able to get 4,787 tickets in 10 minutes, which is an alright number. It is at a rate of 7.98 tickets per second, which is not too bad, but it's not the best. Again, even if you don't think you're gonna make it on the green, even if you get it on the yellow, you do get some tickets, which is pretty good, but it is pretty hard to get it perfect all the time. So that is in number 8. Number 7 is one that I really love. So number 7 is an activity that I actually really, really like, even though it's not the fastest by any means. It is horse dancing. And horse dancing, my number 1 tip is play this one on mobile or on a mobile device. So like a tablet, an iPad, your phone, anything like that. I recommend mobile for sure, or any touch screen, because it's going to be a lot easier. If you're playing this on a computer, it's really hard because unless you have really good aim and really good reaction time, you're going to struggle clicking on all the buttons every single time. Whereas on mobile, I'm usually able to tap on the screen much quicker and get all of the checkpoints much easier. So this is the most expensive, but you can do it until an unlimited amount of tickets. I did it for 10 minutes and I got 5,058 tickets over 10 minutes, which is 8.43 tickets per second. I did not miss a single one during those 10 minutes, so that's just to give you like an estimate of how much you can get for horse dancing. And I did do that on mobile because you can see if I click play right here, I'm gonna struggle doing this on the computer. Actually, no, maybe not. Oh, the thing with horse dancing too is if you miss one, you will lose those tickets. So it's really beneficial to only do this if you're decently good at making the check marks, because if you do miss them, you're going to lose all the tickets that you've accumulated. And also make sure that you are cashing out frequently. So in case your game like that, in case your game crashes or your Wi-Fi turns out or something like that, you still get those tickets that you have earned so far. Do not keep doing it for several hours without cashing out. So that is number 7 with horse dancing. And I also like this one because it is quite easy to grind while focusing on other things. So I can usually listen to a book or watch a video in the background or a live stream or something. It is really easy to multitask and it doesn't feel like a lot of work, especially if I'm doing it on mobile and I'm like laying around in bed or on the couch or something. It's quite easy to grind a lot. That's actually where I got a lot of my Carnival tickets, was just doing it on my iPad while I was chilling out listening to an audiobook. Alright, moving on to number 6. Number 6 is Dunk Tank. Dunk Tank is actually quite easy to get the maximum if you are kind of focused. So Dunk Tank, you have 5 points you have to make. And my number 1 tip for Dunk Tank is don't freak out because you have a timer. So if it does take you a couple of bounces back and forth to get the points, it's okay. Even if you did it super quickly, you do have to wait for the timer to do another round while you're grinding. So don't put too much stress on yourself to get them perfectly every first time that you make the arrows, if that makes sense. So let me try to do it super fast to show you what I mean. Even if I do this really fast, and I'm really good at it. So right there, I did it almost immediately and got all 5 points required almost immediately. I still have to wait for this timer to go down. So if it does take you a couple bounces of the arrow moving back and forth, that's okay. This one I was able to do 5,200 tickets over 10 minutes, which is a rate of 8.67 tickets per second. Moving on to number 5, this is actually the same exact numbers as number 6 for Dunk Tank, is Whack-A-Larry. I got the same exact amount of 5,200 tickets over 10 minutes, which is a rate of 8.67 tickets per second. For this one, I recommend, this one's also pretty easy on mobile if you don't want to play it on the computer. But I recommend moving your perspective, so I moved it from here up. For me, it's really easy to look top down so you don't miss anything, and it's a lot easier to click and focus. The thing is, this one takes a little bit of time, so it is kind of tedious to focus your eyes on where Larry is popping up to click it until you finish all 15, I believe. But you can get the maximum amount of tickets quite easily, so I do recommend this one if you are okay with grinding it and kind of focusing on the screen and the visuals. But yeah, it's pretty easy to get the maximum amount of tickets. You just have to pay attention and keep looking at the screen constantly for this one. So that is number 5 with Whack-A-Larry. And number 4, this is where we're getting into the top ones, top 4. So in number 4, we have Balloon Burst Blitz, which is this game right here. This one I am pretty sure is in the top 4 because it's quite easy to get a maximum as well, because you have 3 attempts per balloon. It also doesn't move as fast as some of the other games. It's quite slow. The arrow moves quite slow. And this one, I'll give the same tip as the Dunk Tank. Do not freak out. You have time. If you miss a couple of bounces of the arrow, that's okay. Because this one also, well, all of the games have a timer, but this one's timer usually is still going by the time you finish. So it's alright if you miss a couple bounces. Even if you get it back to back super quickly, you're going to have to wait for that timer until you can play again. So don't freak out for this one. And it's quite relaxing, but yeah, you do have to wait a little bit between each round if you do it super quickly. That is number 4 with Balloon Burst Blitz. Number 3, we're in the top 3, is Ring the Bell. And this one's interesting because I have 2 times for it on the graphic if you saw it. Because a lot of people actually use AutoClickers for this game. So I have 2 times with and without an AutoClicker, and I can't really recommend without an AutoClicker because here's the thing. This is a spam clicking game, so you're going to have to be clicking a lot. It's probably easier on mobile, so if you are grinding this game for whatever reason, mobile would probably be easier if you're not using an AutoClicker. But if you are on a keyboard or a trackpad, on a computer or laptop, it's going to be quite hard. And honestly, I can't recommend grinding it because you're probably going to give yourself carpal tunnel or like nerve damage or something from clicking so much. I did it for 10 minutes and my hand really hurt. So I can't really recommend this without an AutoClicker, but if you're curious, without an AutoClicker, doing it for 10 minutes, I got 4,608 tickets over 10 minutes, which is 7.68 tickets per second. With an AutoClicker, and I'll also note this, for this game, you want to use a strong horse. So I actually swapped to a horse that has 100 strength, which is my Snowflake Clyde. So use a strong horse is my number 1 tip, and I don't even think that's a tip. I think that's like a requirement. Use a strong horse that has a really strong strength stat. Sorry, I can't say words. But with an AutoClicker, it is quite a bit easier. It's just kind of like, for me, it was tiring because it felt like I was doing nothing for 10 minutes. But with an AutoClicker, I was able to get 8.96 tickets per second because I was able to accumulate 5,376 tickets over 10 minutes. So I'll show one of each. This is me without an AutoClicker, and you can see that I'm clicking quite a bit. Let me try to see how fast I can do this. And you'll hear me clicking right now. So it still takes quite a bit of effort. There you go. And you usually make it within the last couple of seconds, unless you're clicking much faster than I am. I don't have the fastest clicking speed, but you can still get the maximum if you're using a high strength horse and you are focused on clicking, but you might hurt your hand if you're using an AutoClicker. So let me actually open one up right now. There you go. If you're using an AutoClicker, it is kind of easy, so I just turned an AutoClicker on. But it's kind of boring. It is in the third spot place though, so it's not bad for a grinding method. I just think it's really boring, personally. So that's with an AutoClicker. But I can't really recommend grinding this one too much, unless you're using one, because again, your hand's gonna hurt. Or if you're on mobile, I guess, but you're gonna keep tapping, which might also hurt your fingers. I'm not sure. Moving on to the top two. So in top two, we have the races, actually. So in number 2 is the Carnival Pier race. If you don't know where that is, it is located right by the prize tent and the beginning of the boardwalk up here. It is marked by the Carnival Pier flag. This one's quite fast, so I'm able to do it in a little bit under 30 seconds at 29.529 seconds on my PBOG stat thoroughbred, and you get 350 tickets for completing it. So doing that math, it is 11.85 tickets per second, which is quite good. I'm gonna do one now. I'm not gonna probably be as fast, but for these races, my top tip is use your horse's favorite food. Again, if you're using your favorite food, you get a 10% speed buff, which will really help your times. It might not sound like it does, but it does. And if you see tickets like that, pick them up. So that also helps. Also try to avoid running into things, because then you'll need to stop like that. I just happened to run onto that pole. But yeah, this one's definitely not the fastest time that I have. Again, my best is 29.529. This one took 36 because I had to stop, but it's alright. And the fastest and most efficient grinding method in number 1 is actually the other race. It's called the Beach Party Loop Race. And you might have missed it if you haven't explored the map, but it is actually behind horse dancing, up here in the top corner of the map. So this is where the Beach Party Loop Race is. You'll see the little flag. This one gives a little bit less tickets, so you get 300 tickets every time you complete it, but you're able to complete it quite a bit faster. I did it in 23.664 seconds, and that is at a rate of 12.68 tickets per second, which is really, really good and really fast. Again, another tip, use your horse's favorite food. It'll speed you up a lot, and it'll help a lot, trust me. So that would be like my number 1 tip. But these races aren't too bad. They're pretty fun, and because they're short, they don't feel as grindy as some of the other event races. You do have to keep a track on that dance floor that you have to make some tight turns, so make sure you're looking out for that. But yeah, even without like favorite food or anything, 26.014 is pretty good. Again, 23.664 is like average, but is like my best, sorry. But 12.68 tickets per second is really good. So the number 1 most efficient and best grinding method, if you are trying to grind the Carnival tickets, is the races. The Carnival Pier in number 2, and the Beach Party Loop Race in number 1. So that is actually it for today's video. I tried to speed these up because usually these videos are pretty slow for me. So hopefully that helped. And if you have any questions or any other tips you would like to give anyone, let me know down below in the comments, and I know it'll help others if you do have any tips. So that is always much appreciated, and I do Wild Horse Islands videos on my channel every single week. I do live streams every Saturday and Sunday, So if you are interested in any of that content, please subscribe, and I will see you guys either in my next live stream or video. Bye everyone!